there's a book called Augustine and Manichaean Christianity, edited by Johannes von Oort from Brill, 2013. And what caught my attention was one of the contributors to this book that is being promoted by Leighton Flowers and others. And I haven't had a chance to be looking at all the other contributors as yet. I'm going to be digging into, where these people teach and what their teachings are and things like that. Because a couple of them, the names making me going, huh. But the first name that caught my attention and made me chuckle was Jason David Bedoun. Jason David Bedoun. And why would he has a chapter called Not to Depart from Christ, Augustine Between Manichaean and Catholic Christianity. And if the name Bedoun does not ring any bells with you, that would indicate that you probably have not done a lot of work in the field of Jehovah's Witnesses. If you have, then you know what? Yes, you can go to aomin.org. What's the most recent article on that? 11 years ago. Oh, Mike Porter. Yeah, Mike Porter had been doing stuff on that. Yeah. Dr. Bedoun teaches up at Northern Arizona State University, has for a long time. So just up the road from us here in Phoenix. And the only thing I've known about him, other than he's clearly rabidly opposed to Christian orthodoxy, was the fact that he's one of the few people who has risen in defense of the New World Translation of Jehovah's Witnesses, which is a horrific mistranslation of the New Testament, biased to the nth degree, filled with doctrinaire mistranslations, and yet defended by Jason Bedoun of Northern Arizona State University. So, lo and behold, Not to Depart from Christ, Augustine Between Manichaean and Catholic Christianity, Augustine's Debt to Manichaeism, Augustine's Mediating Position Between Manichaeism and Catholic Christianity, by Jason David Bedoun. So, I'm just wondering, I just got hold of this material, and I'm just wondering, once, because see, let's leave Augustine to the side for just a moment. There is a tremendous body of literature that exists out there that is directed at the Apostle Paul. The anti-Pauline corpus of literature is huge. Much larger than most Christians have any idea of. And you can put together quite a bibliography of people who will go after Paul for any number of things. I mean, when you write that many books in the New Testament, you're going to have people coming after you. And of course, you can then create alleged internal contradictions with him. You can mess around with his canon, what he did and didn't write, allegedly. There's just so... If you're looking for a dissertation topic, and they generally want you writing on something that no one's written on before, that's the best way in the world to create heresy. Paul is just the best guy to go after. And so I've gotten accustomed to the methodologies of the anti-Pauline type people. And they tend to quote from each other and sort of create sort of a cabal, type of a thing. And you just start getting an idea of what these folks are like. And so I just have a feeling that as I dig into this, I'm going to get a good idea that we're drawing from a particular spectrum of folks here. Now, let me just look here real quick. Yeah, he's still at Northern Arizona University. Yeah, Van Oort, University of Pretoria. Should have known. To say that the University of Pretoria is on the left-hand side of things is to say that Bernie Sanders does not wear a MAGA hat. Okay? Sort of an obvious, straightforward thing. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. My experience is that once you come up with a theory that has a theological foundation to it, in the sense that you're trying to promote a theological position, you will end up being attracted to the sources that will help you to substantiate that theory. And fundamentally, the history of the church tells us that when you align yourself with those who are seeking to emphasize the capacities of man, you will end up in forms of rank liberalism. Or as I prefer today, rank leftism, because liberal comes from a term that is no longer descriptive of the left politically or theologically. Just look at Union Theological Seminary. It was liberal. It's not liberal anymore, because liberalism allows for the expression of multiple perspectives. You don't get to do that at a leftist seminary today. It's just not going to happen. So I'll definitely be looking at what is, especially what Dr. Badoon has to say, and see what kind of background there is to these things. And I just remind you that at aomin.org, Brother Chris continues to post materials there. I have gotten a lot of people who have been commenting on how helpful they have found the inquiries to be, the discussion especially, and that's certainly what I wanted, the discussion of background materials and especially how to do fair, unbiased, as best as you can, anyways, study of church history, to not abuse the early church fathers, but to allow them to be who they were, to appreciate them for who they were in the context where they lived, so that hopefully you yourself, should you ever become an author, will be treated will be treated kindly. I just looked over at my Twitter feed, and by the way, for those of you who are interested, there is a new forum that has come online that, and you're all like, yeah, we've heard of all these before. That's true. But I'm starting to see more and more and more people showing up, and stuff that I'm writing there is getting 1,000 views. And now it's not up to Twitter yet. It's not up to Facebook yet. It's called Parler, Parler. Maybe that's French. Parler. I'll do that for Rich. What? We're all talking about our ethnicities these days, and so did you just not want it known that you're French?
He got off the boat in 1777. It was a sergeant in Lafayette's army, I'll have you know. So there
you go. See, let's not talk about any of France's many defeats since then, but that's okay. Things have changed. Things. let's just say Napoleon was the high water mark, and he wasn't very tall. So there you go. What were we talking about? Oh, Parler. It's sort of a mix between the two. Instead of 200, see on Facebook you can write a book. I'm not really even sure what the actual maximum length is. There is a maximum length. I was not sure what it is, but you can put a lot into an article on Facebook, and of course Twitter is 280 characters. Parler is 1,000 characters. So that's a couple paragraphs. It's not long, but you can say a whole lot more, and you can put your pictures and stuff like that, and do your thing. I've been trying to be wise and not use the term a lot on Twitter and Facebook because I sort of have a feeling they're not really happy if you do things like that. I'd assume. I don't know. But my @ID in Parler is Eleutheros, Eleutheros. It's Greek for freed. It was a term that Luther actually used for himself. In fact, he signed letters using the same one. That just happened when I signed up, and I decided I liked it better than Dr. Oakley's 1689. And I'll be honest with you, part of the reasons for that is not only is it a biblical term, of course, used many times in the New Testament, but the 1689 part, I've just had so many people that also had a 1689 in their ID that just ripped my face off that I was like, I think we'll dump that for now. So what were you going about?
Well, our good friend Colin Smith has pointed out that apparently it is a French term to speak.
Well, yeah, parler means to speak.
Parler. So, I mean, it's supposed to be how it would be pronounced, is what he's saying.
Yeah, parler.
Now, I do plan...
Parlez-vous français? Si?
Un peu.
Un peu.
I will be setting up an Ailman.org account over there, and you're actually already way ahead of me in how that thing works over there and being able to make it propagate over to Facebook and stuff like that. So I've got some catching up
I don't know how to get
to
propagate to anything. I just copy and paste. I'm
there's
rock and stick level right
just
now.
Working harder. So, and by the way, I am told this morning that we are very, very close to migrating the new aomin.org site over.
Great.
To
right
live.
as the world's ending, we're finally going to get a new website. It's good. Good timing.
So we've assembled a really good team of guys that are working hard to make it happen. So
good.
Just thought I'd mention that.
Good. All right. Yeah. So if you want to come over, give me a follow. I'm trying to do searches and follow other people and stuff so that we can get conversations going and stuff. But parler, if we're going to do the French thing, parler. I studied French for a year, and I got A's in it. But I was taking German at the same time, and I had already taken 3 years of German before that. And so the German just blew the French right out of my mind. And there's a real easy understanding of why it did. When you pronounce German, you pronounce the whole word. When you pronounce French, you pronounce about a third of the word. I mean, it's true. Let me see. Je parle, tu parles, il parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, il parle. Right? Did I conjugate to speak correctly? But each one of those parles were spelled differently. But they sounded the same. Only nous parlons and vous parlez sounded a little bit different. It's so contextual. It's so contextual. Ich spreche, du sprichst. Nah, it's German, straightforward, much easier for my mind to memorize and to keep. And so the French went right out the door, and the Germans said, no, we win. We chased the little Frenchman away. That's what it did. So that's what happened to my French. It went, I mean, it's beautiful to listen to. It really is. But it just didn't stick. So anyway, I looked over and you had liked a tweet from Scotty Crawford Dr. Oakley, 1689, and Richard C. Pierce are national treasures and must be protected. Great dividing line so far. Must be protected?
I think we can protect ourselves just fine.
Well, that is something that
much.
we are prepared to do. Yes, yes.
I do want to remind folks also that Pastor Rob Brunansky has also now joined the contributors at aomn.org, and I expect to see his first article rather soon.
Oh, yes, yes. And so, Rob, is that going to be the notes from
the Lehman
response to
presentation that
Jonathan
he did,
Lehman?
yes.
Good, because I have some friends in another country that
Yes.
really, really want that information. So that's going to be good to have up there. So don't forget about aomn.org. We may, that'll be our last bastion. That'll be our last bastion is finding offshore means of communication and things like that. So I had even started, and I tried to. It's just so hard to do. It just takes so long to link in social media to the blog, and then put the main body at the blog, because you're less likely to get bounced off of for social media if you're linking to stuff that their bots aren't going to be going out and reading my article someplace.
Right.
So
the other thing is that same team that has been working on rebuilding the website is also been developing behind the scenes a process.
A new history of France?
I did not put that on their schedule, no. But they've basically been setting it up to where in case something did happen and we lose all these different mediums and have to even relocate the website in a great big hurry, they've been putting that together where that can happen.
Yeah. 6 months ago, someone would have said, wow, you all sound conspiratorial. And now it's like, nope, yep, that sort of seems like a basic thing you got to do these days. That's sort of how it is. So, but thank you, Scotty Crawford, for that. I don't think that I'm a national anything, but I do appreciate that fact. So anyway, Rich has got some tinfoil that he's just got out. He's going to wrap it around his head there. The conspiracies are all around us.